Warning. Warning. This podcast has strong language, opinions, and may cause some people to become incredibly butthurt. Discretion is highly advised. Just, so you don't get your feels hurt.
Bits.
Welcome to PopChaos, the show with twice the taste and half the calories. I'm Brian.
I'm Madison.
Nah. I thought you were going to say twice the calories and half the taste. I mean that.
Well, nobody would buy that.
You'd be surprised. I think people would.
That's true.
They're always looking at the calories.
That's true. The Pet Rock sold. The Pet Rock sold billions of units. So
I think a lot of people don't look at shit. They just
no, they don't.
Just buy it.
That's true
because it's cool and it's trendy.
Trendy.
Yep.
That is the keyword. Trendy.
Oh, speaking of trendy, something I was going to tell you earlier, Jay, but I forgot. Saw a Funko Pop collector responding to, I need to sell all my stuff because the values went down.
Oh?
Oh, yeah, it was like, well, if you need the money, sell the stuff, but if not, just enjoy it. I was like, wow.
Well, he's going to get his collector card taken away.
Yep. How dare you be positive?
Stop having fun.
No.
Yeah.
That's the meme. Stop having fun.
That was the best meme. It really was.
Somebody's done another one now.
Oh, God.
It's instead of Pokemon, it's Call of Duty, which I hate Call of Duty, but it's still funny.
Wait, what is this meme? I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll find it real quick and show it to you. It's
yeah.
Basically,
it's easier to show it.
Yeah, just let me find it and show it.
So what's the subject today?
I was gonna say, yeah, exactly what I was going to say.
Ah. Sorry, I had a cat attack me.
That's fine. It's understandable.
Alright, I posted it up in the Discord.
Jokes and memes.
Memories.
Oh my God, why is that so true though?
It is true. That's why it's funny. The first one I saw was talking about they were playing some new Pokemon game, and the guy comes in. He's like, "This game, it's not gonna be as good as the last one." And they don't pay attention. He's like, "Those graphics suck," and they still don't pay attention to him. He yells at them, "Quit having fun!" And I'm like, yeah, that's basically it. That's the way everybody is today in everything.
Yeah, dude, fuck people like that. I mean, why can't people enjoy, what they want to enjoy? Why does?
Because if you don't like what I like,
exactly,
or if you like something I don't like, we can't be friends anymore.
Or if the person feels like you're succeeding in something they didn't succeed in, they have to bring you down to their level.
Oh, there's that.
Well, there's a lot of that crap. There's a lot of that crap going around, and it's not always been that way, and that's the sad part.
Yeah, I mean, there was things that like friends would do back in the day that were annoying like that, but it wasn't to that level. Like I'm sure Brian remembers, you'd have that one friend that would get a figure or something that you really wanted.
Oh God.
You'd ask no, you would ask them, "Hey, where did you get that?" And they would say something like,
"The Getting Place."
Oh, okay. Well, you're not going to tell me where you got it. Well, okay. Out of curiosity, how much was it? And they would say something like,
"It was $1 million."
Yeah. Yeah, that was the if you had to say a meme from back in our day instead of the quit having fun, it was the get in place or $1 million or my favorite excuse was always, I don't know where I got it. My mom got it for me. Well, could you ask her where she got it? Oh, she's busy. Fuck you.
Because I don't want you to have it.
Yeah, you just don't want me to have it. Just say you don't want me to have it.
Has there been any communities that you've been involved in, I'm just giving an example, like G.I. Joe or something like that. Has any of those communities ever been positive, or is there like a lot of negativity that comes with them?
I'm going to let Brian talk about the G.I. Joe community for a minute, and then I'm going to explain the signed, sealed, notarized, and official letter that, as a Transformers fan, I got from Hasbro.
Oh shit!
Let me give you a little history about the whole collecting thing.
All right.
Collecting started in the early '80s, and there were two groups that started. Well, three actually that started collecting. Hot Wheels / the diecast community.
Okay.
Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Johnny Lightning, Yachtming. There's different companies that put out diecast cars from the '60s to the '80s and to now.
So this was before everybody was collecting like everything else. This was like the main thing that people were collecting at the time.
Yeah. What happened was the G.I. Joe community, the Barbie community, and the diecast community started the collecting hobby. And what happened was a lot of people would grow up and they'd move out. They'd go to yard sales or flea markets or thrift stores, and they'd find the Barbie they had or the G.I. Joe, or they'd find Hot Wheels cars that they either wanted and never had or had when they were a kid, and they started collecting them. And it just it grew from there, where Barbie collectors would buy the Barbies, but they'd need the shoes, or they'd need the purse, or the earrings, or the ring, or the jewelry, or the car, or they would need parts and pieces to whatever they're collecting. Same thing with G.I. Joe, same thing with the diecast community. Okay. And what really made these things valuable is because all of them were played with. It's very rare to find a mint condition Hot Wheels car from the 60s.
Right. Okay.
Or a Joe from the 70s, or a Barbie from the 60s or 70s that's complete mint condition.
You know what's even harder to find? It's even harder to find a comic book that's never been touched by human hands.
That's the truth. My comic books look like shit.
No, that's a joke Brian and I have.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's the truth, though.
It is. It's the truth, but there are people who, when they buy comic books, they break out the nitrile gloves, and they don't touch the comic.
I've seen this.
They started doing it. They started doing it with figures now too.
Yeah, I've seen it. They do it with cards as well. There's like certain Pokemon cards and stuff, and it's so fucking cringy.
And the Magic, they did it with Magic cards too.
Magic cards was the worst.
When I turned 13, I made a decision. I remember this. I decided I can either stop collecting G.I. Joe and Transformers and stuff I like, and I can go do other things, or I can continue collecting and to hell with what everybody thinks. I guess you can figure out which decision I made.
Continued collecting.
Absolutely. And I got involved with the G.I. Joe community. I got really involved with the G.I. Joe community. There were certain people that were like nationwide collectors that were well respected in the G.I. Joe community that I got in contact with, and they turned out to be the biggest pricks I've ever met in my entire life.
I know exactly who you're talking about, and I'm not going to mention their name, but
no, I'm not going to name them and shame.
Was this just with the G.I. Joe community? I mean, was there other communities with the same problem?
Well, I got involved in the Transformers community pretty hard, heavy. See, for a while in the 90s, I started collecting Transformers really heavy. Jay can tell you, I was buying Transformers like left and right.
Yeah.
And I got involved with a page that I'm not going to mention, but it was a Transformers group, and we were talking about how things had evolved. Because when I was in high school, I got ridiculed, bullied, and mocked for collecting.
No, that didn't happen.
And that's what I was told.
I was so crazy to me how to think, like, even in older movies, you had, you know, the quote nerds and stuff like that, and now everybody's into that shit. Everybody collects. Everybody's been a collector. Stupid shit like that.
It's nothing new, because I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, and I don't give a shit. But, like, when I was in school, even, like, the jocks that would make fun of you for reading comic books, you know, I would sit back, you know, I'd be drawing or playing guitar or reading a comic book or something, you know, and they'd try to make fun of me and pick on me, you know, and one day I was like, you know, I could make fun of you too. Oh yeah, why is that? I'll play football. I'm like, yeah, you're a football nerd. You got your little fucking cosplay. Well, cosplay wasn't a term back then, but basically, you got your little cosplay outfit on. What? Yeah, you're wearing your little, 49ers jersey or your Lakers jersey or your Raiders jersey or whatever. You're the same. You're a nerd. You're just in a nerd in a different area than I am.
Right.
You know, and they didn't like that. You know,
and I mean, I'm sure they collected football shit. I mean, that's the same concept.
Well, they honestly, they probably collected dicks in their mouth, but that's another story.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Yeah, the collecting, when I got involved in the collecting community, when I first got involved around here with the local collectors, it was positive. It was very positive. It was kind of nice to be around people who were into the same stuff you were, and you could sit there and talk about how figures you liked and figures you didn't, and what's coming out, and share the news, and trade and buy and sell and do. Of course, I never sold or traded. I was always buying, but it was positive in the beginning. And to use a very obscure term, the worm turned, and things just got dark.
Well, that's like years ago. Oh shit, it's probably been fucking 15, 20 years ago now. But Brian and I went to a meet and greet, and it was some guys locally that set up a meet and greet at a comic shop. And it was mainly for Transformers, and but there was other stuff there too. Like some guys had comics, some guys had G.I. Joe stuff, some people had just all kinds of different stuff. I think that somebody even had some Jason the Wheeled Warrior stuff, because I was sitting there, I was like, man, I'd like to buy that shit, you know, because I loved that when I was a kid. But the atmosphere was totally different. Like everybody was friendly. Like if we disagreed with somebody, we would sit down and talk about it, and they'd be like, well, what do you think? You know, and say, well, you know, I think this, or I think this. Like, oh, okay, I never thought about it that way. I don't agree with you, but it's interesting. You know, and the guy that was putting on the little shindig. Yeah, the guy that was putting on the shindig, he actually had one of the Transformers series that I didn't have at the time, because this is before DVD. This was back to the tape trading days, and I always talk about tape trading, and people don't understand what I'm talking about, but this is a perfect example. I had my laptop with me, and the guy's like, dude, I live literally 5 minutes from here. He's like, if you're comfortable, if you want me to, I'll take your laptop and I'll download all these episodes from my computer to your computer, and then when you get home, you can burn them on a CD or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he's like, man, I got to come back and get my stuff anyway. You know, I'm not going to take off with your computer. I was like, yeah, that's fine. So he went home, and about 30 minutes later, he came back, and I had the whole series sitting there on my laptop. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, when we got back, Brian and I sat there and talked while I burned them onto CDs. But that's called helping each other out. And that's why
the way a community should be.
Well, that's why you don't have stuff like tape trading anymore. You don't have communities that'll help each other out.
Peer-to-peer,
everybody wants to be on top with it or be better than the other person.
Well, it's not only that. Everybody wants to get ahead of you. It's a competition. I don't compete with anybody. I have nothing to prove.
Well, tell
I have never.
Tell him about that guy. Tell him about that guy.
I was getting to it.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Oh yeah, I was getting to him. I don't know this guy's name, but there's a local collector.
Mm-hmm.
He beat me to a very, very rare Sergeant Slaughter. It's a $500 figure.
Holy shit!
It was $10.
Somebody was selling it for $10.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It was at a flea market. One of my friends actually saw it and sent me a picture, and then didn't know I wanted it out really bad, and didn't know how valuable it was.
Right.
Well, this guy came in and got it, and he went around the flea market just crowing that he beat me to this hot figure.
Oh my god!
And did it to my face. Did I tell you about that part, Jay?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, he did it to my face. And now I've pulled up to the local Goodwills.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be sitting there, or I'll walk out and get in the car. Look up, he's pulling in. He starts pitching a fit because I beat him to the Goodwill. Because all the good stuff is gotten.
This guy lives his whole life to try to one up you, basically.
Well, that wasn't the guy that I was.
That's like the purpose of his life.
That wasn't the guy that I was going to get Brian to tell you the story about, but that's actually a better story. The one I was talking about was the guy that said, if you see me in the toy aisle, don't talk to me. You're not my friend. You're my competition."
Oh yeah, that's when things started going bad. That's the first signs of negativity. Was years ago. I don't know if you're familiar with Wizard magazine.
Yeah, I know of it.
Okay, they spun off their toy magazine, Toy Fair.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody wrote a letter in and was talking about, if you see me in the toy aisle, don't talk to me. You're my competition. Like, fuck you.
Yeah. And then there was the guy. There was the guy at Target the last time we were at Target. If you remember that, we were searching for Joe's. I can't remember who exactly it was we were waiting on, but
Firefly.
No, it wasn't Firefly, because that one asshole jumped in front of me when we waited 3 hours outside and got the last one. No, I'm talking about.
We weren't looking for Joe's. No, we weren't looking for Joe's. We were looking for the Rise
He-Man.
of Evil pack.
That's what it was. It was the He-Man 2-pack. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was.
And he got his wife or girlfriend or whatever to sneak over and talk to one of the employees and got the last two.
Oh my god.
Well, he even told me that his wife had a friend that worked in the stock room. And
he basically told us there's no reason for you to even be here.
Yeah, because we got there before he did, and we talked to 2 employees, and they were back there looking for, they supposedly had 2, and we're like, all right, awesome, 2 of us, we need 2 of them. And so when the person that was looking for us went back there, this guy, he came over and he asked us, he's like, oh, what are you guys here for? We were just being friendly. We told him. He's like, oh, that's what I'm here for, too. Then he walks off and goes to his wife. His wife flags somebody down, and then they go to the back. And about 10 or 15 minutes later, they come back. Oh, we don't have any. And then our person never shows back up.
Right.
And so we, Brian and I are talking about, because this dipshit was talking to us the entire time. He was like following us around the aisles.
Yeah, he's trying to get information from you guys. That's what it was.
I told Brian, I was like,
he was making sure we didn't get it.
Yeah, right. I was like, this motherfucker's a scalper, pure and simple.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. That scalping is a big problem with collecting.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
So this is a good example for right when I started my YouTube channel, and I know I've talked about my YouTube channel before in our past topics, but anyways, right when I started it, nobody was collecting fucking Pokemon cards. I mean, there was like a handful of people, that were collecting. Not everybody was into it. Then you had famous people that started collecting it and buying it, jumping on the bandwagon. So that made everybody want to fucking buy it. So it got to a point, because I would go to the store like every week to buy cards, because, I'd make a video every week. So I would go buy cards. Well, it got to the point with the scalpers where there would be a fucking line the day that because it's like a third-party seller at like Target and shit. So whenever they would bring in the cards and stuff, there would be a line of people there, literally waiting for them.
If I'm not mistaken, they got their cards on a Thursday.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it got worse. It got worse than that when Brian and I were still going out.
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah. We when we were going out, they actually got to where they were taking the Pokemon cards, and I don't know if they did it with Magic or not. I can't remember, but they took the Pokemon cards. It was the Pokemon and the sports cards.
Sports cards were really bad.
They locked them away.
Yep. Yeah, you had to ask for them.
Yeah. And
then they stopped selling them.
Yeah, they stopped selling them for a while, and then they got to where they'd only sell you like 1 or 2 packs at a time.
Yeah, it started dying off. But here's the other thing.
Walmart got to the point where you could buy one box of cards, or 1 pack of cards, or a certain number. I had a friend who
were limiting them. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I had a friend who wanted to get 2 boxes of cards, and he's like, "You mind getting this?" I said, "No, give me the money. I'll get it. I don't care. I have no interest in sports cards at all."
Right.
So I got him a box of cards for his. And he wasn't buying them to scalp. He was buying them for him and his son to open.
Collect. Yeah, and that was the other thing. Is this? It pissed me off with the scalpers, man, because me being in the Pokemon community. This goes back to what I was talking about earlier. The Pokemon community was great. Nobody really ever argued or anything like, the common people. So we would go buy cards, but, we wouldn't buy them up so little kids could collect them. Because that's like future collectors, you want the little kids to buy them. I mean, hell, my son's into fucking Pokemon. I love when he buys Pokemon cards. But, yeah, that really pissed me off with the scalpers because, they would buy up everything and then sell it for triple the fucking price.
I used to be...
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, you want to talk about triple the price. I told Brian about this when I got home tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, and Brian will vouch for me. I'm one of the biggest Nirvana nerds that you'll ever meet.
I picked up on that.
No, you're not.
I've got...
You're Johnny come lately, and you don't like Nirvana.
Yeah. I've got a whole bookshelf in my living room that's nothing but like biographies and autobiographies. I have CD and vinyl and tape collections. Have songs on there that a lot of people probably never even heard of. I will go into that here in a second, but yeah, I just bought a $1,500 guitar because it was
and that thing is fucking sweet.
But okay, so I was looking Blitz. I think it's Blitzway. I think that's the company name. They just did a Kurt Cobain 12-inch action figure. Is that
like? Now I've been meaning to ask you: is that like a Hot Toys style?
Yes.
Okay,
and
with like soft goods and...
Yes, the first one they did was I really wanted it, but it was a little expensive. It was like $800, but it came with it was him and his green cardigan sweater, and he had his acoustic guitar. It was the set from MTV Unplugged in New York. He had the chair, everything. and it's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. But anyway, this one is the one with him and his trademark black and red striped sweater with the Fender Mustang, the cigarette, and
yep, I got it pulled up on Google right now. This thing's fucking cool.
Yeah, well, it retails for about $300. Everyone is sold out. Everywhere that I normally shop is sold out. I looked on eBay. Guess the price. Don't look it up. Guess the price was what people are asking for it.
You said it's retail for $300?
Yeah, about $300, $318.
So they're probably asking what, like $1,500 for it?
You're close. $1,000 is the going rate for it.
That's fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I'm like.
It's just because they bought them all up and they know that somebody's going to pay the fucking price for them.
Well, I didn't pay $1,000. I got mine from retail.
I know you know better than that, but there's people out there that.
I actually found a place that still had them on that wasn't sold out, and I'm not going to say where I got it. You know,
I wouldn't.
But you know,
it rhymes with the Skittin' Place.
That's right, the Gettin' Place, and I paid $1 million for it. And my mom got it for me. I don't know where she got it.
Yeah, do you mind asking her? Because
oh, she's busy right now.
Oh, okay.
She's cooking dinner. It's 11 o'clock. She's cooking dinner.
That's really cool, man. I did not know they made Kurt Cobain figures.
I've got two other ones. I've got the first two they did. One's a 12-inch, and I'm sure Brian remembers this one because I had it standing right next to my Ash Williams from The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
It was the 12-inch, and him and Ash were both motion censored. So when you walked in front of them, you'd hear Ash, say "groovy" or "I'm the guy with the gun," and then Kurt would be over there like singing "Drain You" or "Smells Like Teen Spirit" or something like that. It's pretty cool. And then I have like the little 6-inch figure too. But
didn't they make a Funko Pop?
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, and I looked that up recently. I looked that up recently. I got the exclusive FYE one, and people are selling it for like $100, $200, $300. I'm like, Jesus Christ! What?
Yeah, I knew of the Funko Pop. I didn't know they had a figure though.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
That's why I don't have a full set of G.I. Joe Funkos.
I don't have a full set of the Transformers.
Jesus, dude, don't even get me started on Funko Pops.
I'm missing one.
I'm missing like 4.
I wish they would stop making different fucking versions of the same thing. They're like Optimus Prime taking a shit, Optimus Prime jumping through the air, Optimus Prime.
Now I don't mind that. What I don't like, and I think Brian will 100% agree, because I know he will because we've talked about it. What I wish they would stop doing is selling exclusives through the Funko store, and they sell out in 5 seconds.
Right, because of the scalpers.
Yeah. So it's like, you don't get to go get one like at Target or Walmart. Those are fine. You can find the Target and Walmart exclusives. Right. It's just like, now this is fucked up. This is fucked up. I was at Walmart, and I guess this was sometime last year, and I just was looking at the Funkos just for shits and giggles, and I found Scarlett from G.I. Joe. And really? I thought, okay, Scarlett, I love Scarlett. She's cool. I'm going to get that. It was like $5 or $6. It wasn't even retail. It was marked down. And I noticed it. They had a only at Walmart sticker on it.
I found out about that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because I called Brian as soon as I got home. I'm like, bro, I think I got a Walmart exclusive, and I was telling him about it. He's like, okay, tell me what it looks like. And I described it to a T, and he's like, no, mine looks exactly like that. And I said, well, I don't know why the fuck it's got that exclusive sticker on it then.
I found out exactly why. The G.I. Joe stuff was exclusive to Walmart as a seller.
Okay, that makes sense then.
But, let's see, I got mine from Big Bad Toy Store.
Okay, so it was online retailers too. Well, BBTS gets exclusives, yeah.
Did they just put the sticker on there because they were selling it at Walmart?
No, it was a Walmart exclusive. But
Walmart had the exclusive rights to sell the Funko Pop G.I. Joe.
Okay.
They were the only box store that had the rights to sell them.
Yeah, like the brick and mortar store. Like you couldn't go to Target and get one. That makes sense. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I just found that out recently.
Okay.
Because somebody was being a big dick about it.
Well, going back to my story that I'm going to tell about my signed, sealed, hand delivered.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
You know, with a kiss from Hasbro letter. There was a group that we used to go to, and I'm going to go ahead and name the group. I don't give a shit. Brian and I both of us used to be a part of this website called the Allspark. And just like everywhere else, the Allspark was a great place to go. I mean, that's where you got your Transformers news. I mean, they posted shit first. I mean, you wanted to know what was coming out, that was the place to go.
So was this like a
it's still
nationwide thing, or was this like a local?
No, it's a website.
Okay.
It's still
it was nationwide.
You can go to it right now.
As a matter of fact, I used to have contacts. Remember that?
Yeah.
I used to have contacts that would tell me I saw this at so and so store in Knoxville, for instance.
Damn,
and I would be like, okay, I'll be on the lookout, or I'm looking for this, or I'd tell them I'm looking for that. Well, okay, and then by the time they'd find it, I'd find it.
Well, so was this like the beginning of social media?
No,
I know everybody just posts on social media like, okay, there's this and this and this.
Unlearn what you have learned.
Okay.
Because
this was a discussion. This was more of a discussion board.
Yeah, this was before social media. This is
I got you.
Like, okay, to tell you how old I am, bro. Like, and if there's any computer nerds out there, they'll be like, "Oh, hell yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about." Everybody else is like, "What the fuck?" The first modem I ever had for my computer was a 8-baud modem. And you're probably sitting there scratching your head like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Do you remember 56K? Remember 56K?
No,
oh my god, son.
I didn't even have dial-up, so if
that's what 56K was.
Okay.
So an 8-baud modem was probably about 6 to 12 times slower than 56K.
Oh shit!
It was literally like super slow, and it was an external modem.
There all day.
And we didn't have the internet. There was no internet. You had bulletin board systems. And the way bulletin board systems worked was you would have somebody in your city or somewhere close that had a second or a third computer set up. And their computer was hooked up to a phone line 24/7. And however they set their computer up, like it would have, some of them would have the news, some of them had games like the old Muds, and you're probably sitting there like, well, aren't you going to get dirty? Mud was an early RPG game, all text based. You could have like all kinds of different things. Like some people would have text documents that you could download for various things, or pictures, or things like that, but that was rare because that took a lot of bandwidth back in the day. But you would actually call
a hell of a lot of time.
But like you would call this local number through your modem on your computer, and you would connect to their computer. It's basically early form of the internet, and multiple people could connect to it at one time. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Where the hell was I even going with this? But anyway, back in the day, yeah, that's what there was no social media. This was like, just like Brian said, a forum basically.
IRC and
right. So
internet relay chat.
So the story I'm trying to give is, throughout the years, Hasbro has lost trademarks and copyrights to certain names. They've gotten most of them all back by now. But, Cup is a character from Transformers. They lost his name, so they had to call him Sergeant Cup or Autobot Cup. Hot Rod, they lost the name to Hot Rod, so they had to call him Rodimus, or Rodimus Major, or Rodimus Minor, or Hot Dash Rod, or Autobot Hot Rod, or Cavalier Hot Rod. Yeah, they had to come up with some crazy way of keeping the characters.
Don't forget Hot Rodimus.
Hot Rodimus. So one of the names that they lost was Blue Streak. Okay. And so they re-released the G1 figure of Blue Streak, and they're like, well, shit, we can't call him Blue Streak. What are we going to do? So they call him Silver Streak. Okay. The community was up in arms. I mean, the autism was strong with these people. They literally were pitching a fucking fit because his name wasn't Blue Streak. It got so bad. It got so bad, and I wish I had saved it because no one was going to believe me on this. It got so bad, Hasbro actually officially came out with a statement and said,
Yes,
look,
they did.
We lost the trademark to the name Blue Streak. We're calling him Silver Streak so we can release the figure. When you buy it and put it on your shelf, you can call it whatever you want to.
Oh my god.
This actually happened.
They actually gave you permission to call your toy whatever you wanted to call it.
Yeah.
This is how stupid
wrong with
people are.
So why that one specifically?
I don't know. I don't know why it was that one.
It's very weird.
I think wasn't that one of the first ones that they released that they lost the name on?
Yeah, that was one of the first ones. Certain names, like Jazz, for instance, is the names they'll lose the names either because somebody else copywrote the names while their copyright lapsed, like that son of a bitch Bobby Valla. Fuck you, Bobby Valla. I'll kick you in the fucking nuts if I ever meet you in person, you son of a bitch.
Wait. Who's Bobby Valla?
We'll get to that.
A former Hasbro employee.
Okay.
But also, like, Jazz is too generic a term.
Okay.
I mean, it's a form of music. So how are you going to copyright the word jazz? So when they release Jazz, they have to call him Autobot Jazz.
So they would lose. So essentially their ownership of the name would run out, and somebody else would take the name before they got their rights back to it.
Okay, we're going to leave. This is going to segue into something Brian and I have talked about for a long time. I can just sense it. So the way copyrights and trademarks work is, let's say that I come up with a character and I call him Rudy Poo Shitman. Okay. Well, Rudy Poo Shitman becomes popular. And I don't want somebody stealing Rudy Poo Shitman, and being able to use him in their own stories. So I would copyright and trademark that name. So copyright gives me the rights to the name and the character. The trademark gives me the rights to the likeness and the overall appearance of the character. I think that's the way that works. Anyway, they work hand in hand.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly how it works.
Yeah, so you sign up and you get a copyright and or a trademark for, we'll say, 10 years. Okay? So when that 10 years is up, there's a brief period where that name, Rudy Poo Shitman, is it's up. It's available to anybody. It's available to anybody. So if you're like, I really want to fuck Jay in the ass on Rudy Poo Shitman. So let's say, I have a business trip or I have a funeral that I have to go to or something, life, gets in the way.
Right.
And you're on your computer and you're, using your meaty little paws on the keyboard and you go and you trademark Rudy Poo Shitman. Well, I come back the next day and I'm like, I'm going to up my trademark. Oh, hell. Somebody beat me to it. And then you can find me and turn around and say, hey, I got this trademark and it's your character. How about you give me $25,000 and I'll give you this trademark?
Damn, so it's almost like blackmailing.
It's bribery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's literally people that pretty much sit there all day and do shit.
There are people, when the .com movement started in the 90s, the late 90s, there was people that would go and they would buy the domain like Walmart.com or Target.com because they knew, they had the foresight to know that the internet was going to be big, so they would buy all these website domains. Well, when Walmart would go to, and I'm not saying this happened to Walmart, I'm just using an example. Okay. So Walmart would go, some companies. It did happen to some companies. So, Walmart's like, well, we want to do a website. So they're like, we want Walmart.com. Well, it's taken. Oh. Well, you can go through the provider and see who bought that domain.
Right.
And then they would contact them and say, "Hey, we want this domain. Can we buy it from you?" Yeah, $1 million. What?
Or you can fight it in court.
Or you can fight it in court, but I've already bought it, so I'm going to win. So you can either
not necessarily.
Well,
they probably there have been cases. Out.
Well, there have been cases where a site domain will be like duckfucker.com was bought, and Duckfucker organization decides they want duckfucker.com. They sue because they own the rights to Duckfucker. And the people who got duckfucker.com lose the case because they knew they were going to, that duckfucker.com would want, or Duckfucker would want duckfucker.com.
But this, yeah, that's more of a recent thing. I mean, back in the day when the internet was first getting started, I don't think that happened as much because I know there was a lot of companies that actually ponied up the money to buy these domains. But it's the same thing with copyrights and trademarks. It's literally a way for somebody like Bobby Valla, or some of these third-party companies to produce their shit and get the names and say, I have Optimus Prime now. I own Optimus Prime. Well, no, you don't own Optimus Prime. You just got lucky and got the trademark.
They almost lost Optimus Prime to a fan company.
Yeah.
And they almost lost Megatron to Yu-Gi-Oh!
A fan company?
Yeah, because
it was stealing fans?
Yeah, it was Optimus.
Optimus Fans.
Yeah, and they wanted to put out a fan called Prime or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had a model called the Prime.
Yeah.
And you said, what was the other one they almost lost to Yu-Gi-Oh?
Megatron.
Megatron. They had a card that was called Super Megatron in Japan. And they were going to bring it to America, and they couldn't call it Super Megatron in America.
Yeah, I did not know about that.
Almost lost the rights to Megatron.
Well, see,
a lot of people don't
sorry.
understand. Oh,
I think you were going to say the same thing I was going to, that copyrights work differently in Japan.
Yeah. Well, what people don't understand is, like Transformers and G.I. Joe, they make a lot of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadows and different characters in G.I. Joe. The reason they do that is to keep that name in circulation and in copyright, because somebody like that son of a bitch Bobby Valla will sneak in, cocksucking son of a bitch, motherfucker.
I really want to know more about Bobby.
Bobby Valla is what happens when cousins fuck next to a microwave.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Tell us how you really feel Bobby now.
Valla, I'm trying not to hold back. Bobby Valla found out he worked for Hasbro. Hasbro did this thing called it was nicknamed Created Joe, but what they unofficially called it was Steel Brigade.
Yeah, we talked about that in the G.I. Joe episode.
Yeah, I remember you bringing that up.
Okay, the copyright to Steel Brigade lapsed sometime in the late 2000 around 2012, 13, 14, somewhere around there.
Okay.
The last time Hasbro used it. Well, Bobby Valla swooped in and got the copyright to that and the English name for G.I. Joe. Because there was a company called Palitoy in England put out G.I. Joe, but they put it out since the 60s. But see, G.I. Joe, which means government issued soldier, means jack shit in England. Nobody knows what a G.I. Joe is. So they called it Action Force. And they called G.I. Joe, went back in the 60s and 70s, called it Action Man.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the reason they did the Action Man thing was, and I think they did this in the States too, after like the Vietnam War and all that shit happened. They kind of made G.I. Joe go more of like an adventure team type thing there for a while.
Well, they did, but they used Action Man because he was the man of action.
Right.
So in G.I. Joe's tagline in America was America's movable fighting man. And in England, once again, you're not going to say, hey, it's America's movable fighting man.
Right.
So they called it England's man of action. So they and once again, getting back to collecting, there are English-only versions of G.I. Joe characters and G.I. Joe figures.
Red Laser?
That they put out for Palatoy. Red Laser, Gaucho, Stalker.
So just to give him some context, tell him who Red Laser is.
Yeah.
Red Laser is Cobra Commander.
But
basically, they had repainted Cobra Commander and included him with the heavy laser. I can't remember what they called it, but
he was red instead of blue.
Yeah, he was red instead of blue. It had like a visor painted on his face mask. It had two yellow eyes on it.
Okay.
And a skull and crossbones on his chest.
So was this exclusive, you said, to England, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you could only buy this figure in England.
Yeah, because this was the 80s, man. We didn't have, once again, no internet. So, I mean, hell, when we were kids, we weren't even aware of this shit.
Yeah. In England, the villain was a guy named Baron Ironblood.
So when you guys got older and the internet came along, you realized, holy shit, there's so many more characters overseas.
Well, then there's also the Indian Joes, which, if I'm not mistaken, don't you have some of those?
Yeah, the Indian Joes are really bad, really bad quality. I do have one of the only exclusive characters to India, Skydiver. I've got his card back too. But anyway, excuse me. Bobby Vala, son of a bitch, also got Action Force. So his toy line is called Action Force, and he stole Steel Brigade, and now he puts out Steel Brigade figures in the same colors as the Hasbro version, and people kiss his ass. And
okay,
I think
so
he's a son of a bitch.
we need to back up. We need to back up because this is without context. He's probably sitting here thinking,
"Yeah,
well, that's shitty." But I don't think he realizes the whole third party thing. So I'm going to start this off with a question. Okay. So Madison, let's say, and I'm just going to use Transformers because that's a big one. Let's say you got into.
I've got a question.
Well, hang on. Let me ask mine first. I'm just curious. So let's say you got into Transformers. I got you into watching it, and you're like, yeah, these are cool. I'd like to have, at least this character. I'd like to have an Optimus Prime.
Right.
All right. And you get online and you find a transforming robot that looks like Optimus Prime, and you don't contact me, you're just like, well, that looks like Optimus Prime, but his name is Billy Bob.
Right.
Would you buy that?
I mean, me personally, no.
Okay, why? Why would you not buy that?
Well, because his name's not Optimus Prime.
Okay, so what would you classify that? Would you classify that as an actual Transformer, or would you say that that's something else?
I would say it's like a third-party seller. I would say it's like a custom-made item.
I was looking for the word bootleg.
Bootleg, that's a good one.
But that's exactly what these third-party companies do. They take, and I can show you plenty of examples here later, but they'll take characters like Optimus Prime or Grimlock or Bumblebee, and they'll change up how they look just very little, and they'll sell them with these weird-ass, stupid-ass names, and people will eat this shit up. And it's like 3 or 4 times the price as like the official merchandise.
And are people buying this?
Yes.
Aware that it's a third-party seller?
Yes.
Why?
There are people who actually collect nothing but third parties.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'll show you some of this shit.
That makes 0 sense.
No, I don't understand it either.
Vala actually ripped off Chuckles.
Well, I mean,
Chuckles is a G.I. You remember Chuckles from the movie?
Yes.
Hawaiian shirt and everything.
Yeah,
well, he made a character, Condor, who was like a secret agent, and he had a Hawaiian shirt and everything, and people were like, that's so much better than Chuckles. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not official.
Well, that's just like, I bought some Naruto cards off, I can't remember what site it was, and I didn't know anything about them. So like apparently, if they're fake, they are holowful, and I didn't know that. And when somebody I knew made me aware of that, it made me, kind of disappointed because I don't want to buy a third party, or a reboot of something. I want the official. I don't understand the point.
Exactly. But
And
there
I
are
mean,
there are people out there, like Brian said, that only collect third party because they are,
That's
quote,
insane.
superior. Now, I went to, and I don't know if I should mention the name of the convention or not. What do you, I mean,
You could just write us in the group. Tell me in the group.
Let's just call it a local convention.
Yeah, a local convention. My wife and I went to a local convention. We've all three been there before. That should tell you what it is.
I think I got a pretty good idea.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, my wife and I used to go, and we were up there one time, and there was this guy. He had a Transformers booth. And I was like, we were on our way out. I said, let me look. I said, I guarantee you I've got everything that he's got. I said, but just on the off chance that he's got something older that I don't have. She's like, yeah, that's fine. So we walked in, and he had a bootleg Slag. Or no, well, it's a third-party Slag.
Okay.
One of the Dinobots. And they've never done the Masterpiece Dinobots other than Grimlock. And I was like, looking at it. And the guy walks up and he's like pulling his pants up. She's like, that was pretty cool, ain't it? I was like, okay. I mean, if you like it. He's like, you ought to get that. That's a really premium figure right there. I was like, it's a bootleg. And he had this weirdest. He looked like I had just rubbed shit under his nose.
Oh man!
And he was wanting $600 for it.
Holy shit!
And I'm like,
is that how much the actual version costs?
Okay, Masterpiece Grimlock, for example, I think when he first came out was like $150, $175, something like that. If I'm not
that was retail
mistaken.
price.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see how much these third parties are, how much more expensive. They may not be that expensive anymore, but they were real expensive back then. Excuse me, I got choked. But
there's a prime example of the quality of some of these third-party crap fests. There was a Megatron third party named Hegemon.
Thank you. I was trying to find somebody that he might know.
I actually witnessed somebody open a Hegemon, and it broke the second they touched it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen.
How much did they buy it for?
I don't know.
About $100. They paid $100 for it.
I don't understand why somebody would want to buy. I just can't wrap my head around that. It doesn't make any sense.
Well,
okay, it's gone down. It's gone down in price now, but I'm going to put a link up here. I'm going to show you. I'll put it in. It's a joke and it's a meme. I'll just throw it in there. This is the quote Masterpiece third-party Megatron. Okay, now I'm going to show you I'm going to show you the Masterpiece Megatron that I have.
the only thing about the third-party Megatrons is they can actually turn into a gun, and Megatron himself can't.
Right.
The Masterpiece could.
Yeah.
But they were in a narrow window where they could do it. Excuse me.
So is that what sets it apart from the actual Megatron and the?
No. Okay, are you looking at that one?
Yeah. I see
Okay,
that one.
this is
Got,
the okay. All right, this is the Masterpiece Megatron that I have. Well, I've got two different ones. That's the newest one. And,
holy shit, that's like a world of difference.
yeah,
Yeah,
but the third
one looks like shit.
but the third party one's better.
How?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's not official.
Yeah, people hate Hasbro.
Because they're a big company and they're this evil corporation that doesn't care. But yet they'll go and find these Chinese sellers that make all these third-party bootleg pieces of shit, and they're perfectly fine with paying 3 times what they'd pay for a regular, officially licensed version, just to fuck the company.
That's
which is
bullshit.
ridiculous in my book.
I mean, I don't understand why people just want to be like that. Just hate the company so much. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit that much. I'm gonna buy the official product because to me it's better. I don't give a shit what the company. That's stupid, man. That makes zero sense.
I do own some bootlegs, but they're so laughably bad.
Well,
and they all have lights in their chest for some ungodly reason.
There's a difference. There's a difference between buying a third-party figure and a bootleg, in my opinion. I mean, I still consider third parties bootlegs, but they try to pass them off as equal to or better than the official merchandise. Now, a bootleg is something like what we're talking about is something you'll find like in a dollar store, and it's not even trying to be passable, man. It's just like
this is the stuff you find at the flea market.
Yeah,
like
and you just buy it,
but like
you see it, and it's like it's a buck, and you're like, okay, Cobra Commander has boobs.
He has a purple head.
He has a purple head, and he's got a set of knockers. Okay, that's hilarious. I'm going to buy that for $1. Right. Yeah, that's like the what were they called? The Star Wars figures, the Uzai. Was that what they were? The Uzai figures.
Yeah, those were officially licensed.
Yeah, but I was just giving an example because the
Uzai figures were friggin' hilarious.
Like the Death Star gunner. I'm gonna find that and show it to him.
Oh God, I'm not going to say a word about the Death Star gunner because I want you to see this. But yeah, back when I was collecting Magic cards, hot and heavy, which I still have my complete set of Magic cards.
That's awesome, man. I love Magic.
As a matter of fact, I bought some recently. I still buy them.
So what's I want to ask you, I know this is probably veering off topic a little bit. What's your thoughts on Magic the Gathering doing fucking everything now?
I don't like it.
I think it's a desperation tactic.
You think so? I feel like it's just random as hell.
It's random as hell, and it's trying to stay relevant.
They're just trying to keep up with the times.
I want you to look at this picture, and I just want to see if you catch it, and I want to get your reaction to it.
What the fuck is that? Why does he look like... He looks like the robot dude from Power Rangers.
No, that's the Death Star gunner from Star Wars. But just look at... take a closer look at the package.
Which I have one of those, by the way. It's about $100 figure.
He hasn't noticed it yet. I'm stunned.
Is it what he's playing with?
Yeah, look at it.
Yes.
Is that a calculator?
It is.
Yes. It's a calculator. They took a calculator and put it as a control panel for the Death Star.
It looks like they took the picture in some kid's room.
They probably did.
That looks like a school bus in the background, like the back of a school bus.
It probably is. I mean, hell.
And you said, this is a bootleg or is it a third party?
No, this
neither.
Is licensed.
It's official, but it's like from
licensed?
Is it from India or is it India or
Paraguay?
Paraguay, yeah.
It's from Paraguay.
What the hell? So this is an official Star Wars license figure.
Yeah, from the 80s.
Yeah.
How the fuck did they get away with this shit?
Because they bought the license.
That's crazy.
They got the license. They didn't. Lucas was notorious for not policing the Star Wars licensees very well.
Yeah, that's why you got a bunch of fucking books that don't make any fucking sense.
There's also a C-3PO tape dispenser. It looks like he's getting a pelvic exam.
Oh my god.
There's also a C-3PO card from Topps where he has a giant metal boner.
Yes. Yes, there is.
And I've seen it in person.
Oh
I have too.
God.
Yeah, I'll find it.
It's hilarious. The whole thing about Magic, though, is I know somebody who coveted my Magic cards, wanted my Magic cards so bad because he could sell them and make a fortune.
Right.
And he was just like, why don't you sell them? You never play. Well, the reason I don't play is because the game changed so much from what I play.
95% of the card games now. Holy shit, he does have a boner.
Yeah. It got to the point where it was so disappointing that I stopped playing because I didn't want to go and play.
Let's see. I started playing Magic post-COVID. I think it's changed so much since
I will give you a perfect example of the modern collector. And I'm not going to mention a name, but you both know him. But I'm not going to mention a name.
Okay.
So this person that I know found out that back in the day that I used to play Magic. Found out that Brian used to play Magic. And they begged and begged and begged me to come in and start playing Magic again. Well, I didn't want to start playing Magic again, but it kind of got the bug up my craw to look into the cards again. Because when I played, I had a red deck, a blue deck, a green deck. I never played black much. That was my brother's cards. Every time I'd get black cards, I would just...
isn't it?
Yeah, I would always give him the black cards. I gave him a card that, if I could find it, it's actually worth quite a bit now. It's the Darksteel Colossus. I remember me and him and Brian went and bought, I think it was like 2 complete boxes of the Darksteel shit one day. And we came back, and that's the only card he wanted out of that whole set. And we got down to the last pack, and no one had pulled one, and I pulled one out of that last pack, and he was freaking out. He wanted it so bad, and I was like, here, bro, you can just have it. I mean, it's a really good card, but I was like, I don't play black, you can have it. But anyway, I always played white cards. I always built an angel deck, a heal deck.
Yeah.
So my strategy was I would always heal fuck myself, and then pull out Sarah Avatar and Wrath of God, and I forgot what the other one was in the combo, and I would just destroy everything. But, so, I wanted to see what new Angel cards had come out. And I found some, and I was like, alright, cool. So I almost said the guy's name. I called him up and was like, hey, I got some new cards, you want to take a look at them? And I found my old cards, you can come take a look at those. Okay. So he's looking through, and I don't have as much as Brian has, but I got shit tons of Magic cards from back like 3rd edition, 4th edition, all the way up to, I think, what was the last set we got? I think Ravnica was the last set that was out when we quit, maybe?
I think so,
I think it was Ravnica. But anyway, so he's looking through my decks, and he finds my 3rd edition Sarah Angel, and he starts freaking the fuck out. He's like, how old is this card? And I said, well, let me look at it. So I got several Sarah Angels. I said, this is the 3rd edition one. And he literally, just eyes get as big as saucer. He's like, do you know how much that card's worth? No, I don't. Oh my god, you could sell this. This card's probably worth like $1,000. I'm like, I don't think it is, and I don't care. Well, you could sell it. No, I'm not selling it.
No, it fucking isn't.
Yeah, no. I was like, now, if it was like an alpha, maybe. but that's the way people are these days. It's everything. I'm gonna say this, and I'm using it as a joke, and Brian will get it, but you won't. It's like Ted DiBiase used to say, everybody's got a price. And
yeah.
That's true these days.
To tell you, I have bipolar disorder. And it can be pretty severe sometimes. Jay knows this.
Yeah.
And one of the things that helps me is collecting. Because I'm sitting right now in my collection room and
just taking it in.
I can Jay can tell you, I've talked to him, and I'll just be sitting there going, I'm looking at my stuff, and I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah. But I'll be honest, I've got several figures that are worth high dollar.
Mm-hmm.
High dollar. I don't care.
Well, that's going to get me into something else that I always thought would be a little corner time story for Madison. I'm going to say it, and Brian's going to go, oh, God, you're going to hear his teeth grit. Well, what you need to do is get something that maybe 1 out of 100 people have, and that's what's really worth collecting.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not.
I'll let Brian tell the story, because I know the asshole too, but he knows him better than I do.
Yeah, this guy used to run a toy booth at the local flea market.
Didn't know shit about toys.
No, he didn't. I was his toy guy. And eventually we had a falling out. Which is fine. You know, these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But he made the comment one time that he hated eBay because if there's 10 of anything, at least 8 of them's on eBay at any given time. It's made things too easy to get a hold of. And I was like, you have got to be shitting me.
Well, he
I don't
also
feel like that was the case with eBay at all.
Well, he also made the comment that, you know, all this shit that people buy, it's not worth anything, which I'll give him props. He's right. He's right. The stuff that we buy, it's not going to be worth anything because it's not rare. They make thousands, if not millions of these things. Right. You know, and he's like, well, what's really worth collecting, what's really awe-inspiring is if I go in someone's house and they've got something that maybe only 100 people in the world have. And I was like, so by that rationale, your definition of collecting is getting things that no one else has the opportunity to get. It doesn't matter if you like it or not, as long as it's rare. That's all that's worth collecting. That's bullshit.
Yeah. There are people who, if it's not valuable, you shouldn't have it.
Right.
I mean, I have rare toys. I have old toys. I've got shit that's probably not worth anything in my collection.
But it's something to you.
Yeah, Jay can tell you. I collect Fortnite figures.
Yeah, he told me something about that.
You know why I collect Fortnite figures?
What's that?
I like the way they look. Certain characters I'll get. I don't collect every Fortnite figure. As a matter of fact, I'll walk by 100 Fortnite figures and maybe pick up one.
There's just certain ones that grab your attention.
Yeah, the last one I bought was a chicken named Cluck. And his weapons, he had a gun, a backpack with an egg in it, and he had 2 chicken drumsticks as weapons.
That's funny.
I laughed my ass off when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, that is the silliest thing I have ever seen. I must have this. And now I've got it sitting on my Fortnite shelf. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple of Pokemon cards that are valuable, and that's cool. But like to me, I'm never gonna sell them. Well, so what's the point?
No.
And I got news for people. Okay, I got a Psylocke statue up on my glass case full of my Marvel statues and DC statues because I collect statues too. Right. But this Psylocke statue, it's a not Hot Toys, Sideshow, and it's a premium format. You can change
great statues.
You can change the head, you can change the arms. She came with the cloth outfit, and it's really nice. I mean, it was expensive when it came out, and the thing's probably worth a lot more now. But I don't care because I'm never going to sell it because it's mine. You know, but the point being is, okay, so I don't know if you even know who Psylocke is. So if I came to you and I said, Madison, I got this Psylocke statue, it's worth $2,000. Give me $1,500 and it's yours. Are you going to buy it?
Probably not.
Okay, and why is that?
Well,
I mean, just be honest. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm trying to make a point here, so just be honest.
Yeah. I know who the character is. It's just I don't collect that.
Okay, and you don't have an attachment. And you don't have an attachment to that character.
Right.
So literally, that statue is worth what to you?
Nothing.
There you go. My point exactly. You exactly proved my point. It's not worth anything to you, so it's only worth what someone's willing to give you for it.
Right.
Doesn't matter what a book or a website says.
prime example. I've got a friend who's got the telescoping lightsaber vintage Star Wars figures.
Oh shit! Yeah, I remember
Obi-Wan and Vader. He's trying to find a good price for them. I told him, I said, the problem, he's finding them on eBay for like up to $1,000.
Right.
And I told him, I said, that's nice. That's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's great that you have something valuable. Good luck finding someone who's going to pay you what you want for them.
Yeah, because I mean, it all goes back to what Jay just said. It's you got to find that one person who's willing to pay that because they want that item.
Okay, perfect example. And I talked about this earlier. The Kurt Cobain figure.
Mm-hmm.
I was willing to pay $300 for it. That's retail. Was I willing to pay $1,000? No.
No. And you're a huge Nirvana fan.
I am.
My wife's cousin is liquidating his toy collection, and he has some very nice, very, very nice vintage toys. I am buying a lot of the toys from him. I'm in the process of, I'd say probably at the first of the year, we'll be seriously talking about what he wants to get rid of and what I want.
But I think the
we're coming to the.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we're coming to that head coming to a head there, where he's got a price he's wanting. It's whether or not I'm willing to pay it.
Right. And I do think the price of stuff is influenced as well with you being a collector because you know what something's going to be worth.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to somebody who's outside of collecting, doesn't really know anything. This is a perfect example how, like I said, the scalpers were buying up Pokemon cards. When I'd go look back and look at the Pokemon cards, you'd see buff dudes back there that look like they've never picked up a fucking card a day in their life, who has a 6-pack in their hand, and they're looking at fucking Pokemon cards just because it's trending.
Oh yeah.
Well, not only that, but you got Karens,
Yes.
and older women.
Holy shit,
they see this Yahoo article or this BuzzFeed article, and I fucking hate BuzzFeed, or they see it on the news. Pokemon Mania is sweeping the nation. You better hold on to your cards. They're going to be worth a fortune. Put your kids through college. So they don't understand that a G1 Charizard is worth probably $1,000 or more. They don't understand that that's that one card. They just hear Pokemon. They just hear Pokemon, and they go, I saw those at Target. And then they go buy a whole box of Pokemon cards. I can send little Johnny to college.
No, you fucking can't.
Yeah.
No, you just spent $40 on a bunch of cardboard.
Cards that's not worth anything. That's not even worth $40. And that's and I think that's another reason why sometimes these third-party toys and stuff sell more, because people don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
A lot of times it shows like American Pickers, and Storage Wars and shows like that where people will actually find something. Yeah, Oh, believe me, I have firsthand. I have not firsthand knowledge, secondhand knowledge. A friend of mine was on American Pickers, and he told me, he said these guys wouldn't know that they were gushing about signs. Well, his area of expertise is antiques.
Right.
He told me they would step over $1,000 sign for a $50 sign.
Well, half the time they go to the place first and see what all they have before they even film the show.
Oh yeah. Oh, believe me, I know. He filled me in about these guys.
Okay, well, speaking of that, since you mentioned Storage Wars, and we talked about this pre-podcast, and we even mentioned it to Madison, or at least I did one day when we were talking after work, but we never have had a good time to bring it up on the show, and I think right now is the perfect time. I want us to watch a segment of Storage Wars So we're going to take a little intermission. We're going to watch this, and then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss it. So give us, it'll be like no time for you guys, but for us it'll be a few minutes. So jump cut. All right, we're back.
Here we are in the future.
Yeah, jump cut. I am meh.
I'm Mr. Fusion.
I'm Mr. Poopy Pants.
Poopy
because
pants.
that was shitty.
All right.
So before we even start on Mr. Mustache, that was a Nirvana reference. Before we even start on Mr. Mustache there and his what all he said that was wrong, I just want to know what you think of that segment that we just watched.
First of all, it felt so fucking heavily scripted.
I was going to say forced.
Yes, that's a great word for that.
May the force be with you.
Yeah.
It was bullshit.
Well,
it was hands down.
Well, first of all, Brian, let's go over the 12-inch Joes. Let's go over the 12-inch Joes, because when I first showed you that clip a couple months ago, you had some interesting takes on what he did and did not say about the 12-inch Joes.
Well, first of all, Mr. fucking expert there, he is the reason I don't claim to be an expert. People like him. He didn't mention whether or not they were Adventure Team, whether or not they were Vintage Joes from the 60s. He didn't mention whether or not they had Kung Fu grip, whether or not they were what they call hard hands, whether or not they were Eagle Eye Commanders. None of that information.
All he said was, it appears they're from the 70s.
These are some of your classic G.I. Joes. From the outfits, they are like 70s.
Which, correct?
You're an asshole.
Did they even still make 12-inch Joes in the 70s?
They made them until the oil embargo of the 70s. That's when they stopped making 12-inch Joes and made them about, I think, 8 inches tall.
Okay.
And they made them into like Super Joe, and that's when they went into space and started fighting aliens.
This guy's an expert, man. He had the Snake Eyes logo tattooed on his arm.
Yeah, so does CM Punk, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, he does.
Which, welcome home, Punk. But anyway. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff he didn't go in on the 12-inch. I mean, he just instantly basically said they're junk.
Bunch of junk.
It's nothing good here. And then he went into the Mobile Command Center.
But this is actually what excites me.
Which, he said one thing that is true about the Mobile Command Center. It is a very sought-after piece for most Joe collectors, real American hero collectors. But I have the Mobile Command Center. I'm missing a lot of the bits.
So let's take a look at your bits. Bits is the key to every G.I. Joe collection.
But I do have one.
So is it still as valuable without the quote?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
it is still valuable. I mean, of course, people will pay more if you have it complete than if you don't.
Right, they want everything.
But most collectors, and I'm just speaking, well, I won't say for most, but I'll speak for myself, and I think I'll speak for Brian too. If we were at a show or a yard sale or a flea market, and I walk up and I go, "Hey, Brian, they got a Mobile Command Center over there," he's gonna be like, "Oh shit," and he's gonna go look at it, and as long as it's got the wheels, and the door, and it's in good condition, he's gonna be like, "Well, how much do you want for it?" Even if it doesn't have all the missiles and the guns and the extra bits. Am I wrong?
Nope, I don't have a Mobile Command Center currently, so I would definitely be interested in one.
I think most collectors, that if you found a Mobile Command Center in the condition that was in, it didn't even have the stickers applied to it, and somebody was saying, $100, and you had the $100, what would you do, Brian?
I would more than likely go for it.
All right, there you go. So I just think that these shows and collector intervention and I'm going to throw these guys under the bus too, because we've been wanting to talk about them too. But the whole comic book men thing.
Oh God!
I have issues with Walt Flanagan on comic book men. But that's we can either get into that now or like save that for another time. But
I'd say we save it for another time.
Yeah.
He knows comics. I will give him credit. He knows comics, really well. But he doesn't know dick about toys. He doesn't know anything about Transformers and G.I. Joe and stuff like that. But that's part of what's led people to this mentality of everything is valuable. Everything's worth $1 million.
This little snippet from the Storage Wars was his whole intent. Was that for publicity? I mean, was that the whole intent for that?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I think as far as I know for a fact, Pawn Stars, which
yes.
I actually like Pawn Stars.
I got a great example from that show.
Well,
actually,
there's a YouTuber that I used to watch a lot. I still watch him from time to time. His name is Pat Contry, a.k.a. the Pat the NES Punk. And he has two of the most valuable, sought-after Nintendo games ever. The Nintendo World Championships cards. He has the gray one and the gold one. He was on Pawn Stars trying to sell them. Well, quote, trying to sell. Pat was never going to sell those games.
right.
That I think was just you have something that a lot of people are into right now, bring it on the show and let's show it off, plus you're going to get publicity for your YouTube channel.
And they're giving a price value for it, so that's going to make the price in the market fluctuate.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's yeah.
This guy named Gary, and I don't know if I brought this up in the past or not, but he has like the biggest collection of Charizard cards that he pulled when the sets first came out, like base set 2, first edition. He took all of them, and they're all PSA 10. I'm pretty sure grades. He might have a couple of 9s. He took all of them all of them on Pawn Stars, and he was like, "Oh, I want to sell it for this much." They gave a price range. I shit you not, within that week, dude, because I have a base set and a base set 2 Charizard, they went up like $100.
That's insane. Well, since you brought up slabbing, and I hate that term, I'm going to ask you, what do you think of that? I mean, I will admit I have 2 comic books that are graded, but they were graded when I bought them. And the reason I bought them is because it was the first and second appearance of my favorite X-Men character. I already had the first appearance of him, but they were so cheap on eBay, I went ahead and bought them again. Right. It's the first appearance of Gambit. And like I said, I had one in my personal collection, and I saw those. I mean, it was like $20 for both of them. The single comic's worth more than that. So I was like, $20 is nothing. I'll get them. And I put them up as basically decorative pieces. But what do you think of the whole grading thing?
I have my good opinions about it and my bad opinions. So I would absolutely love to have my Pokemon cards graded. Hell, any of my cards, I would love to have them graded. I think it has gotten out of control with the grading. A lot of the reasons people get stuff graded is to sell. It's a sell tactic, and I think they should be more fair with grading, because I could send a card and somebody could grade it an 8. I could, break the slab, take it out, send it in. Somebody could grade it a 9. So there's that. But as far...
Okay, that being said, why would you ever want to send your stuff off and have it graded if you know that it's a flawed system? Why would you want to pay these chuckle fucks, $100 or $200 to grade something when it literally means nothing?
To sell. That's the only reason. Some people do want to just have a collection of graded cards, but the main reason is to sell. Because my Charizard is worth a set amount. If I were to get a certain grade from PSA, it would triple in price, and then I could sell it. I don't care enough to send it in to get that. Now, there is a difference with you. You bought your comics already graded. Now, there's a difference you going ahead and buying them already in a slab. That's great. Me personally, I get so much anxiety wanting to send these cards off because I'm afraid they're going to get lost in the mail. That's my only dilemma with it. If I live, down the street from it, I'd probably take them in to get graded. But yeah, majority of the reason people get their stuff graded is to sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that, but I guess my point is, okay, if they were grading through AI or some kind of machine,
they have that now.
Right, but like you said, you can. I mean, we heard of a guy that, and I think Brian actually told me about this. The guy that he got a book or a card or something sent off, and he didn't get the grade he wanted, so he sent it back 5 times and got 5 different grades. How is this? How is the stability? I mean, if the comic book is in good or near mint condition, it should have the same number value on it every time it's sent off to get graded.
Yeah, it's just
I mean, you got Billy Bob grading it one day, and then you don't like what Billy Bob said, so you unslab it and you send it back, and Bob Billy grades it the next day, and he grades it half a point higher. That's the human element. That's inconsistencies. You're never going to know what the real grade of something is because it's someone's opinion. I mean, okay, let's say you send your Charizard to me, and I'm certified, to grade this shit. Well, let's say I don't like you or I'm pissed off at you. Okay. You've given me your $100, so I can literally say, yeah, this card, it's no good. It's no good. It's a 4. It's a 4. It's no good. Just because I don't like you, and I don't want you to have the money.
Sorry, my headset cut out. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, if I don't like you, I'm not saying this happens, but like, let's say you send it in to me, and I know it's yours. I can come back and say, no, this card's no good. It's a 4. It's a 4. Right. Whether it's a 10 or a 9 or whatever, but just because I don't like the person, or I'm petty, or I'm having a bad day, that can affect what I want to grade a card or a comic or something. So that's what I'm saying. It's totally bogus, and these people are making millions of dollars doing this bullshit. They're scamming people.
Yep. Yeah, PSA and all that stuff is a scam, and a lot of reason for that is, like I said, famous people were hopping on the bandwagon. So, like that dude taking in the Pokemon cards to Pawn Stars, that brought everybody's attention to it. And this goes back again to, people like, oh, well, you need to buy Pokemon cards because they're worth this much, and they don't know exactly which Pokemon card it is. So they're going by, okay, well, this person took this in, so now they're getting publicity for it. It raises the price of this certain card, so now everybody's going to jump on it. Famous people are jumping on it. That's why the price of it goes up. So I think grading in that aspect is ridiculous. It is a flawed system, and they are scamming people. That's why I refuse to send my cards in to get graded.
Yeah, Brian hasn't said anything, so what are you thinking, Brian?
I think it's a scam, and I think anybody who gets taken for a ride really should be ashamed.
I mean,
I think people should think. I mean, cards, it makes sense. You can see the front and back of a card. With a comic book, what the fuck? You can't read it.
Oh,
you can't enjoy it.
This is like them grading Funko Pops.
Well, a video game. You're never going to be able to play it again.
Right. That's dumb.
Yeah.
That makes 0 sense.
And there's another problem with, like, grading figures. And as soon as I say this, Brian's going to go, oh, yeah. All right, let's take Real American Hero G.I. Joe, for example. Brian, what is one of the definitive traits of the Real American Hero Joe figures from the 80s and early 90s?
They are held together with a rubber O-ring.
Bingo. And what happens after about 20 years to that O-ring?
Or less, they dry rot or they snap.
Alright, so let's say you have a quick kick still in the box, and you send it off and they grade it at 9.5. That's a hell of a grade for an original quick kick. You're over the moon. You're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got such a high grade. Thing's worth $10,000, okay? And you hold on to it because it's just going to appreciate in value. What happens when that O-ring dry rots and his fucking legs and waist falls off? Is it still a 9.5? It's in the slab. It says it's a 9.5, but it's in pieces now.
That's a good point. I never really even thought about that.
Same thing with He-Man. They had rubber pieces that held the legs on.
Yep.
So you think the person could even sell it for that price, even though they gave it that grade?
I wouldn't buy it.
That's crazy.
No.
I mean,
why would you buy it?
Now, if I saw a quick kick that had his torso, his arms, head, his crotch piece, and his legs, but the band had dry rotted, yeah, I would buy that, because guess what? It takes 5 seconds to unscrew him and put a new washer in there to hold him together. Now, if it's slabbed, you're not getting that fucking open unless you break that slab, and then you've ruined your, quote, investment. So what's the point?
There is no point.
Exactly.
It's a rigged system, man. It's all for money. That's the whole purpose of getting something graded.
And that's why everybody is into pop culture shit right now. That's why everybody wants to collect. That's why they'll open their cards. Oh, I got hot garbage. There was nothing good in this pack, and they'll just throw it away. No rares. No nothing good.
And I mean,
there's a guy on Facebook. There's a guy on Facebook who opens up old sports card packs, and if there's nothing valuable in it, nothing rare, it's hot garbage. It's a pile of shit.
And then he eats the gum.
Yeah. He eats like 30-year-old gum.
That's being fucking conservative. I mean, shit. Some of that gum's probably from the fucking 70s and 80s. That's more than 30 years ago.
Well,
That's true.
It just makes collecting as a whole not enjoyable anymore. And I think the internet has a lot to do with that. Well, not the internet, but like social media.
Well, the internet has a lot to do with it. The internet and social media is a big reason I'm not into Star Wars anymore.
No, it's bad. It's really bad. And that's the reason why I got out of my channel and stuff like that. It's too much to keep up with. Things were getting too expensive, too many scalpers. You can't fucking buy anything. And I don't know why. It always seems like, so I collected Pokemon for a while. I stopped collecting Pokemon. I got into collecting Dragon Ball Z cards. It seems like every time I get into something and start collecting it, I can't ever fucking find it in the stores. It seems like everybody gets into it at that time.
A local Walmart has stopped selling Magic cards.
Really?
They just do not carry them. You may find 1 or 2 packs, but that's it. No more.
So is that all Walmart's? Because I don't think I've seen any Magic cards in Walmart lately.
That's the only Walmart I've been in.
Okay.
That I've seen it. That's not to say that all of them are like that, but this one at least is.
And I wonder if the collectibles at Walmart are a vendor product, because they are. I know they are at Target. They're a vendor product.
The cards are.
The cards are a vendor.
Okay. So that probably has another thing to do with it.
Vendor. Yeah, it's whatever's moving, and apparently, for whatever reason, Magic cards just aren't moving.
Which goes back to the thing that you were asking earlier about all these specialty fucking cards and shit that people are, or that Magic is doing, like,
Yeah, because they're trying to jump on the bandwagon.
Right. Well, no, it's to bring interest back in. Like, they started with the Godzilla cards, and they've done Transformers, and now you said they're doing Seinfeld. I'm like, what the fuck? Really?
It's because people that don't know about Magic, well, they'll be like, oh, I know about Transformers. Well, maybe I can buy these cards. I mean, hell, dude, I think they're even going to... Somebody told me that they were going to take on, like, Dragon Ball Z or something. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with Magic right now?
It's... see, I never liked it when Magic even did crossovers in their own little world. Like, I didn't like when they would bring in, like, machines and stuff. It just kind of fucked with my head. Like, I'm like, why are they doing this? Why?
Yeah.
Like they had a set a couple years back that was like cyberpunk. Like, everything was like that. Neon and machines.
Yeah.
And I was sitting here looking at it. I'm like, the cars look cool, but
There was a set that actually introduced vehicles.
Right.
I didn't know that.
But I look at that and I think, I don't like this. This isn't what Magic was. And I guess people are going to be like, oh, you're just an old fogey. You know, you just don't like change.
It just takes away from what it is.
Right.
As a whole.
Well, I remember when I was playing, the slogan was all you need's a deck and a friend.
Yeah.
Now all you need's a deck and $5,000.
Yeah, basically.
Well, yeah, because the minute that you get the new cards and build your deck, they're already banned. They're already outdated. You got to get the new shit.
I think what's crazy is the fact that they used to own the rights to Pokemon. The original
they had
set.
the distribution rights to.
It was Wizards of the Coast.
They didn't own it, but they had the rights. Yeah.
Yeah, they made. I think they made base set, first edition, base set 2. I can't remember when they got rid of the rights of that, but it's funny to think about that. I always forget that Wizard of the Coast produced those.
Yep.
Well,
that is pretty wild.
I just hit my microphone. I just blew everyone's eardrums out. But, I mean, I don't know. I won't say nothing is enjoyable anymore, but there's a lot of things in our hobby that are not enjoyable.
It's not the same, man. It's not the same.
Back in the day, and it wasn't that long ago, Brian and I used to go out on the weekends, and we would be out, like, all night or maybe sometimes even 2 nights in a row. Mm-hmm. And we would hit every Walmart, every Target, Toys R Us, KB, every store that, we could find. And it wasn't, like, these people were like, oh my God, they're obsessed. Well, no, it wasn't that. It was fun because we worked through the week. We were tired. We're like, we just want to get out and do something fun. So we would get out and ride around, go to these places, look for stuff. If we didn't find anything, of course we were a little disappointed, but we still had fun because some of the antics we got into was just crazy. But you can't do that anymore. I mean, it's not feasible to do that anymore because, literally, you go to a Walmart and a Target, they don't have anything. It's all online.
Well, everybody's aware of everything now.
Yeah, and that's part of it. It's like, if you're not there at the door waiting for them to open at 6 o'clock, your chances of getting something are, pretty low.
Right, and it was like that for Black Friday, too. Black Friday and stuff's changed a lot. Hell, you got like a whole fucking week now for deals. You can buy shit online.
I hate Black Friday. I wish they'd just do away with Black Friday.
Me too, man. And it's not... The exclusive stuff they used to have in stores where you're like, okay, you got to go into the like GameStop or something and get this exclusive product. That was fun. I watch old videos all the time, like when the PS2 came out, like people waiting for the PlayStation, or like, some exclusive game came out, and if you went to GameStop and you pre-ordered this game, you get like exclusive content for it and stuff. They don't have that anymore. And I think that's what made games really enjoyable.
See, I'll disagree with that because I hated the fact, and Brian and I have talked about this, like, I think it was Mortal Kombat 9,
mm-hmm.
which was years ago now, but when it came out, I bought it, and it was like, go to Walmart and you get Melina as an exclusive character. And then you go to Best Buy, you got to buy the game in, and you buy the game again, and you get Sub-Zero or Scorpion. And you go to GameStop and you buy it, and you get a different exclusive character. I hated that. It's like, why am I buying the same game 5 times? And then a month later on the marketplace, they just release all of them in a pack for like $10. I'm like, you're just milking people at this point.
It's gotten even worse with like battle passes and shit. God, I hate that.
It could be a lot worse. Remember when they had the pay to load?
Yeah. I bet that goes along with it. I'll let Brian explain that, but then I'll explain the whole something else when it comes to DVDs that they tried. Go ahead.
They tried this thing where you would play a game, say Call of Duty.
Okay.
Your character runs out of ammunition. You have to pay to reload.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was something that EA talked about in one of their meetings. Their higher-ups talked about it.
I remember hearing something about that.
They never did it because they realized it was a dumb decision, but they were going to charge like $1 to reload your gun.
Nobody would play that.
Yeah, they would.
Really? You think so?
Yeah. Oh, I know they would.
Oh, yeah.
I know they would. Yeah.
I mean, I guess when you have a kid that has their mom's credit card, they
exactly
charge that shit up. It's just like Fortnite and stuff.
So. Well, that's like back in it was either the late 90s or the early 2000s. They tried to push this thing, and I doubt that you remember limited play DVDs.
No, I have no idea about that.
So the way limited play DVDs worked was you'd go to the store. Again, say you went to Walmart and you wanted to buy, we'll say, Infinity War on DVD.
Okay.
Well, you'd take it home, and the DVD was made with a chemical, like there was a chemical inside the plastic, and once it oxidized, the timer started ticking down, and you'd have maybe a week to watch it. And then it degraded so fast that your player just wouldn't play it. You'd have to go buy another copy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And they actually produced these. They didn't catch on, obviously. But yeah, they actually produced them. They came in.
Well, I mean, did they had regular movies as well, right?
Well, yeah, obviously, because we still have regular DVDs and Blu-rays and 4K and all that.
So everybody was just buying those, and they were like, "Fuck this other shit."
You're right, yeah. But this was the MPAA and their way of combating piracy and shit.
Okay.
The whole idea was you don't buy a movie. When you buy a DVD, you don't buy the movie, you buy a license to play the movie.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't like the fact that people, and I'm kind of divided on this. I don't agree with that. But on the one hand, and this isn't what they were going for, I know it's not, but in my way of thinking, I kind of understand to a point, because I hate it when people, and it's Star Wars people that do it, we own Star Wars. We own Star Wars. No, you fucking don't. You don't own Star Wars.
No.
You don't. Shut the fuck up, sit down, watch the movie, or don't, your choice, and leave it alone. You don't fucking own Star Wars. It's not your creation. Just because you got the little DVD doesn't mean you own it. Just because you grew up with it, guess what? I grew up with it too. I don't own Star Wars.
Actually, if you really wanted to be a prick about it, we could say we do own Star Wars because we're the Star Wars generation.
Right.
But we don't go around thumping our chests and saying that.
Because it's stupid. I mean...
Yeah.
But anyway, we've kind of gotten on to a lot of topics tonight.
Yeah, we have.
It's been interesting.
Yep.
Anybody have anything else to add?
Well, I was going to say earlier, I meant to bring this up earlier, with the scalper thing. I know, because my wife worked at Target, and you were saying how that one guy was tied in with, like, the employees and stuff. I do know that when like certain sets would drop out for Pokemon, employees would actually give them and hide them in the drawers, like back in electronics and stuff. That way, when they would get off shift, they would come in or whenever they would leave, they would just get those products and go buy them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another huge issue why nobody could get their fucking hands on anything. And I'm sure it's not just Pokemon. I'm sure they were doing it with other things as well.
Oh, they were, because I've worked retail for many, many years. I worked at Walmart like 3 times. I worked at Best Buy like 3 times. Mm-hmm. That's why I always say I fucking hate Best Buy, and they will never get another red cent from me. That is the worst company I have ever worked for. They suck. They are terrible. I mean, I used to, anytime I would drive by the store that I worked at, I'd flip them off. Just because I fucking hate them that much. But yeah, no, the employees do get their hands on stuff, and they will hide it, and they'll go back and they'll buy it. I mean, and so yeah, it's used to just be people like us that really appreciated and really loved the stuff.
Right, and everybody jumped on the bandwagon.
It wasn't that common, but nowadays it's literally okay. I'll tell one more story before we call this a wrap.
Okay.
When I was working at Best Buy, I worked security, and pretty much everybody at the store knew I collected things. So there was this guy came up. He had 3 Marvel Legends figures.
Okay.
And he went through the line, and the girl that was ringing him up, she came over to me after he left. She's like, "Oh, he just got 3 of those Marvel figures." I'm like, "Yeah, I saw that." And she's like, "Oh, they were on sale. They were only ringing up for like $12.99. They're normally like $20, $25. I said, "Yeah, that's a good deal." And she's like, "Wow, I bet you he's going to keep those. He's not going to open those." I said, well, "Probably not." And she says, "Those are going to be worth some money someday." I said, "No, they won't." And she looked at me funny. And I got on the radio. I said, "I'm going to explain to everybody one last time. One last time I'm going to explain this." And, I was surprised the managers didn't cut me off, but I actually got to finish my little rant on the radio. I said, "Anybody that thinks that the figures that we sell in this store are going to be worth anything someday, I'm here to tell you right now, as a collector of over 20 years, they will not. The only things that are collectible like that are worth anything, the reason the older stuff that our parents grew up with is worth money right now is because, like, okay, my dad, for example, he had the first appearance of Superman. He had the first Superman.
Comic book?
Yes.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
And you know what happened when he went to college?
What?
His mom threw his comic books away.
Oh, no.
That you talk to your dad. That's what happened. That's what happened. Brian, back me up on this. You know it's true.
Yep.
Parents, your grandparents threw all the toys and all the comic books and all the baseball cards away when your parents moved out. So they are gone. That is why this shit is valuable now, is because there's not as much of it in circulation.
Right.
Those Marvel Legends figures that guy bought that day, do you know how many thousands of those are in circulation?
Oh, I'm sure they mass produce them.
They do. They are highly mass produced, and not just in the States. I mean, they sell them in Canada. Oh, no, they don't. Never mind. I ain't going to say that on the podcast. It's a joke. They sell them in Canada. They sell them in Britain. They sell them in Australia, England, Japan. I mean, they sell them all over the world. You mean to tell me that because Chucklefuck bought Dazzler, that it's going to be worth something someday? No. It's not going to be worth dick.
I mean, everybody knows what Marvel is.
Well, the reason that these older figures are worth something is because the exception was the people who left them in the package, not the rule.
Exactly. Now everybody's leaving them in the package. All right, Brian, tell him about the G.I. Joe people and the big uproar there was with the Hasbro changing the packaging on G.I. Joe. This is hilarious. This is fucking hilarious.
This is fucking sad is what this is.
It's hilariously sad.
As a matter of fact, I happen to be opening a G.I. Joe figure right now.
You're taking it
what
out
they
the
did
package?
was, oh yeah, fuck the value. what happened was Hasbro decided to go to plastic-free packaging.
Okay.
So they went to sealed boxes. You would think that someone called people's grandmothers a war criminal. The way they reacted. They pitched fits because they couldn't see the precious figure in the package. So they
Oh
pitched
my
a fit
God.
until Hasbro is now bringing back the plastic packaging.
And you
And
want
they
to know
pitched
why
So when
they
did this?
pitched
When did this happen?
last year before.
Okay.
Yeah.
They pitched a
And
fit because they don't open their figures and they couldn't see them.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's literally the
That's
only.
exactly it. Yeah.
So literally
Who the
these
fuck cares?
literally these chuckle fucks were collecting boxes.
Oh
And
my
they just
God.
buy the box and put it up on the shelf.
Yep.
Just
That's all they
hoping
do.
that they'll go up in value.
And there's that, but they keep them in the box, and that's why they were pissed off, is because they didn't have the window, so they couldn't see the figure.
Right.
And this was their excuse, their big excuse, and I love this. This is brilliant. Well, how do I know I'm getting the figure that I'm buying if I can't see it?
Oh my God. You think Hasbro's gonna
Like-
rip them off like that? I mean,
Well,
come the fuck on now.
there are people who swap out figures, but they're doing it in the packaging where you can see them.
Right.
Like,
and,
that's going to stop anybody.
And I mean, Hasbro's not going to do that. Maybe if you bought it from somebody else.
Well, the way I look at it is this: it's the Schrodinger's cat situation. So, I don't know if you're familiar with the Schrodinger's cat
No.
thing. Okay, so basically, what that was it was an experiment. Scientist he put a cat in a box to where he couldn't see it, and his theory stated was, we don't know if the cat is alive or dead because we can't see it, we can't observe it. All we know is the cat is in the box. You have no way of confirming whether the cat's alive or dead.
So we don't have like ears or
No. He's just like you can't observe the cat. Basically, is what I'm saying. You can't hear it. You can't see it. It's just in the box. You know, so that applies to this as well. If you don't open the packaging, you don't know if the figure's been swapped out.
Okay.
So, what is your fear? If no one ever opens it, it is what you bought. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying?
That makes total sense.
So, I mean, you won't know if it's been swapped unless you open it, and you're never going to open it. So, where's the
and if somebody were to buy it from you, they're probably not going to open it either.
Exactly.
And if they did, it's no longer your problem anyways.
I mean, by that rationale, there could be half of a brick in that box. If you never open it,
Right.
you're never going to know.
Hasbro never even put the figure in there to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's a silly argument. Well, they could swap it out. Well, they could swap it out, but
why would
how do you know it's not
Yeah.
swapped out?
Yeah, there's just so many little things that these people do. I mean, my God, let's see. We've bashed all kinds of people. No, we bashed Bobby Fowler a lot.
Fuck him.
But here's the
Son of a
thing.
bitch.
You don't have to buy the product.
Exactly.
Nobody's forcing you to buy the fucking product. If you don't like it, don't fucking buy it.
Oh, I know I said we were going to close this up, but there's one other thing I wanted to bring up because I don't know when we're going to talk about it again. Some things that we hate in the collecting community. And it just came to me, Brian, because we talked about this the other day. MIB and
Yes. Nib.
Mint and Box, Mock.
Or new in box.
Yeah, new in box.
Mock.
Motu.
Mock. Masters of the Universe, MOTU.
Yeah,
It's
Motu.
Motu.
No, it's fucking not. Shut up. It's just I hate this shit, man. But no,
Yeah.
we'll save that for because there was an episode I want to do about people mispronouncing things, and so we'll do that some other time. But that's just a little snippet of something else we're going to talk about. Yeah, mock.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, all right. If nothing else, I say we go ahead and call it here.
Oh,
I say so, yeah.
Go follow us on social, guys. Twitter. I'm not trying to be annoying, but we need more followers.
Tweet it.
And follow us on X.
Yeah, X.
Yeah,
X Twitter.
I guess it's called. Is it called X now?
Yeah.
I guess it's just called X.
Yeah, it's X.com.
God, that's gonna be so weird to get used to. I'm so used to Twitter.
It'd be easier to type. These fuckers that have to hunt and peck, they just have to push one button.
I put everything in a fucking link for you guys. Come on now. Links are on the pages. Facebook, X, Instagram. I don't know about the Instagram. We're still trying to figure that out, but
You got Daily Motion, YouTube.
Yep.
It puts the Daily Motion in the basket.
Yes. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think. Spotify,
Amazon,
iHeart Music.
Yes. Odyssey.
Yep.
Odyssey, BitChute. Yeah.
We're on everything. Go follow us, guys.
We're all over the place.
Yeah. We come in big. I mean, we're all over the. I mean, just go find us.
Did you see that ectoplasmic ghost go by?
That was me. Sorry. All right. Until next time.
See you guys.
I'm Ron.
Madison.
Meh.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bits